Nighttime in Lagos, Nigeria, and a rare moment of relaxation for the sculptor-painter Erhabor Amokpae.
I remember once as a small boy, I drew a fish. It looked very much like a fish. Everybody liked it. I knew then that I had the power to communicate. What a long time since that fish. I use up most of my daylight hours at the advertising agency. If I had my choice, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with commercial art. Because I feel all the time that I'm prostituting myself. I really feel bad about it, but I just have to stand it until I feel I can stand alone on fine art. To me, art is my life. The only thing I live for. There are certain things I feel inside me which I cannot talk about in any other way. The only way I can express this is by putting them down in a visual representation, trying to bring them to life. I paint when I feel like doing it, and when I really have a conception. I prefer carving, prefer sculpture to painting. Although there are certain things I cannot express in sculpture that I can express in painting. I've never painted because I wanted more money. I don't really feel like parting with any of my works. But I'm forced to part with these works because I have to live. And so does the people around me. Not just my own family, my wife and my children, but my parents, my brothers, my sisters, and all my relatives. I have a nice home, a happy home, a good wife. We were married 5 years ago in Benin City. It was a big, big wedding. My father was so pleased with me.
Where are they, huh?
Mom, they don't get ma.
What your tip?
Okay. Bagaimana bisa? Bagaimana bisa, ma? He wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer, and I wanted to be an artist. There was much conflict between us. I left home, came to Lagos, worked, struggled, and did become an artist. And now, my father is very proud of me. We are fortunate. We live well. It bothers my conscience sometimes. There are great contrasts of wealth and poverty in Lagos. Crowded slums on one hand and modern skyscrapers on the other. To a great extent, these contrasts are a legacy of colonial days and Western influence. But there is a force latent in the African that is slowly but surely developing. A deep desire to restore our African identity, our beliefs, our way of life. And this desire, I think, is very evident in our art. The old African ways were better. The days of ancestral worship, worship of the souls of the dead. That religion had a firm moral code where a man had to answer for his actions on earth, not in heaven. I believe we will go back to ancestral worship and we will be better for it. In spite of Christianity, the fire of the African gods still burns. Christianity has not been good for the African. It has weakened his moral fiber. It's a religion of meekness and penitence, of sinning and being absorbed of sin. Some of our artists concentrate on traditional themes. Others, like myself, try more directly to express the spirit of the Africa that is emerging. It has nothing to do with nationalism. We are only trying to redeem what was lost to us, what was ours before.
That's wrong, isn't it? What is it supposed to be?
The title is The Fanatic.
Mm-hmm. Why the change?
Well, the chain is a symbol of his bondage. He's bonded by his own beliefs and ideology. In short, he's a prisoner of himself.
A prisoner of himself, and yet he's ringing the bell there.
Yes, it's a bell of advocating his ideas and philosophy.
The preservation of African ways and values is important to me. I am from Benin, and I like to gather with other people from my city so that we can speak Benin, sing and dance Benin, preserve Benin in our hearts and minds. You can be truly what you are, what you believe in.
Sao Paulo, Brazil, and some reflections by the painter Cid de Sosa Pinto.
I'm again in figurative work. Figurative work is my language. Art, it is an individual interpretation of feelings, of emotions, of experiences. Art is no doubt that. I'm an electrical engineer, but I can't think in terms of electricity. Never could. I used to work in my profession, and one day I decided to quit and paint. I tried a few exhibitions and I succeeded. I worked like hell. Good work, as far as I'm concerned, and bad work, as far as I'm concerned, too. Work, paintings, carvings, everything came out very spontaneously. think it's more important to feel art than to be able to work art. So many work has been done. Different stages. Figurative work. That's how I started. I'm not an intellectual. Maybe that's why I hate cold intellectuality. I'm a very emotional character. If a man is able to create, he succeeds or he doesn't succeed. But if he's an artist, it makes no difference. Because his whole life is a work of art. He should know how to love if he's a real artist. I love very much. I get love. I have beautiful friends, beautiful family. Sheila Brannigan, an Irish girl, a very nice woman. She's an artist. Valdemar, interior decorator. So I decided to work with him. It's fun.
Nada, vocês estão atrasados pro teatro, não? A lição é aquilo que você sabe.
I gather together with my family. My mother, she's nice. I go there and I find warmth, everything I may need. I love a woman. I love her very much. She means everything to me.
Nós falando em sítio, porque a mulher toda.
Nada. Tem nada. Olha.
Me diga uma coisa,
Diga.
Esse negócio de sítio.
Sim.
Você se lembra, eu sempre gostei imensamente do...
Vai falando que eu tô ouvindo. Eu sei, você fica olhando as meninas,
É
né?
natural, eu tô todas descobertas.
Ó, você não vai beber mais, hein? Chega, hein? Você já bebeu, acho que...
Você já acabou o seu?
Já, você bebeu um tanto assim. Bom,
Então me
vamos
dá.
trocar, vai. Não, vamos trocar.
Não, mas todo negócio assim.
Não,
Já começou?
não, melhor vamos ao cinema. Mas já...
My city. São Paulo is a beautiful town. This is a beautiful country. A big country. In terms of human possibilities, latent human possibilities, we are full of tenderness. We have spirit. There's a lot to be done, a lot to be learned. There is one thing I would like to see in São Paulo, and I hope to see it one day. People not worrying only about material progress. Nothing can be done only with material progress. Find beautiful buildings, you're astonished with the architecture, but that's not enough. You must never forget what human beings are going to be there. They will have to live there. They will have to be happy there. Once you forget that, nothing has been accomplished. I was never amazed with the material progress, since that progress didn't run parallel to a human progress. Where are we going? What's the future? I hope very deeply someday to be tranquil. I have depressions very often. I had a father, a real father, big man, full of love. In our apartment, where I live, with my mother and my brother, my sister-in-law, there's a little den with many bookcases, filled with relics of my father's life. Sort of a family museum. A jacket he wore, an overcoat. We have there his books, things he wrote, the pen he used for his many writings. We still use it. He was a wonderful friend. He had a wonderful mind, but I didn't understand him. Shortly after his death, I found out what he meant. I realized what he wanted to be, what he was. But I couldn't tell him. I couldn't tell him. I'm happy, very happy. I'm not proud of anything. If I can be happy of my work, it would be only for one reason. I did exactly, at the right moment, what I felt like doing. I want to say everything I have to say. And I want to be understood. You have to talk to everybody, not to just a little class of people who would be able very sophisticatedly to understand or pretend to understand things. But if you want to talk to everybody, you have to find the emotional words to make him understand you. You can't ever forget human beings. You have to face them. You have to love them. Art has to say that, has to have that meaning, has that sense.
"70 miles northwest of Montreal, the lakeside home and studio of the young sculptor Gord Smith.
I like jazz. I used to play in bands in Montreal. Up here, there's not much doing, just the odd dance day. I keep my drums up in the family cottage. Nobody's up there on weekdays, and I can practice quite a bit. One Christmas, I was 6. My father bought me some oil paints and canvas, and I started. Painted a lot as a kid. We've lived up here for 2 years, my wife and me. 2 good years. We've built our home, and I've done a lot of work. This is a great place to work. It's quiet, peaceful, no distractions. These shapes I've been doing, I've been trying to get them to move and contain some sort of embryo in the center, some mystery. I feel that there's something coming from this. There's a great deal of satisfaction in working with metal. It's very strong, and yet it can be very fine, light, slender, with a great deal of movement. I think it's the tremendous flexibility of steel and copper and bronze that helps me to love the work that I'm doing. My feeling about sculpture really evolved from painting. I wasn't getting enough from the surface in painting. I tried heavier surfaces, stronger textures, but it still wasn't enough. I wanted to present a more stable thing, more absolute thing. I felt the need to express myself three-dimensionally. Just at that time, I decided to give up the idea of becoming an architect. And after 2 years of college, I found I couldn't accept architecture as it existed here. It really didn't make sense for me. So I stopped groping around in paint and also stopped groping around for a profession, quit college, and I started to work. I started, first of all, with an old acetylene torch and some pieces of scrap metal, and I found really what I was looking for. At first, I did fairly straight things, fairly direct statements. Then the shapes got more abstract, more flowing, and that's where I am at this moment.
How's it go, Shay?
Not too bad. My wife, Wendy, she's quite a person. Really a wonderful woman.
Shape's working.
We have a good life. Sometimes we're broke, and I have to go and do construction work or something like that. I'm fairly handy at carpentry and masonry. I built our house myself. Wendy is a very good sewer. She makes most of our clothes. She even made me a suit. We're pretty self-sufficient. I only hope we can stay that way. It probably will become fairly difficult in the future. We want a family, a large one. Our first child is on the way. We're sort of refugees from Montreal. I wanted to get away from the crowds, the conformity, from mass action and mass ideas. In the country, you're so much freer. You can think your own thoughts, you can live your own life. You're not diverted by outside feelings and thoughts. Of course, I'm basically dependent on the city. I need it, and it's of great value to me. A city requires buildings, and sculpture is being used more and more as a part of architectural design. A city means art dealers who sell your work, handle your business affairs, and of course, keep your work on show. Bring it to the art-buying public. Then there's the larger public you reach when you're invited to exhibit in a gallery or museum. This is it. This is really why an artist works. Work is done for people, and anyone who wants to look at it and think about it, perhaps like it, perhaps dislike it. As long as there's a reaction, as long as a piece says something to people. But even in the art world, which should be free and individual, you find that habit of reacting and valuing en masse. Channeled pattern judgment. I like the city. I like people. I like their movement, the pulse of city life. I enjoy all of this, but only occasionally. I need solitude to work well, and it's awfully hard to be solitary in a city. You can be lonely, but solitude is rare. There's always that press of mass actions and attitudes. One of these mornings, the lake will be frozen over. You can smell winter coming. I'll have to work entirely indoors. This confinement comes at a good time, in a way. It ties in with a problem that I have. I've built up some things that represent a wall, and people trying to emerge from the wall, but it's not right yet. The figures should emerge from not chaos, but imposed reality, from the things they have to do, the 9-to-5 routines, weekend drinking status, wearing the proper clothes, saying the right things. But the wall, the imposed reality, can't be apart from the people because they themselves are the wall. They want to escape themselves. Whether I'll get it or not, I don't know. I really don't know.